Okay, welcome everybody to the next episode of my Her Stack podcast series. I am so happy that you are listening, that you are tuning in. This is a series I am doing where I unravel a whole bunch of different health concerns, issues, conditions, goals, and really look at the complete protocol that we can take to heal from it. So, everything from nutrition to supplements, lifestyle, biohacking, peptides, fringe biohacks, things you probably haven't even heard of, things that are all focused on this one specific topic. And today we are doing exactly that. This episode is a little different. It is within that whole framework, but it's a little more fun. I had somebody reach out recently who said that she has a wedding in 8 weeks and what can she do? And I thought about how, and then I had another person actually say the same thing to me who was a guy, and he said, I have a wedding in February and I'm going to get healthy 8 weeks beforehand. And so it's so interesting that we can put this timeline on things and have this glow up that we hope to have within that time frame. So I actually wanted to break this down and talk about what is possible. If you have 8 weeks, if you have 2 months before a wedding, a vacation, a honeymoon, a baby moon, a conference, a reunion, it could be really anything, something big that's coming, and you want to look and feel your best, right? Not just on the outside, it's also on the inside. What can we do to get you glowing? This is holistic biohacking. This is not, I'm not necessarily going to be talking about cosmetic things and things like that. This is just more of the health and self-care aspect of it. Skin, hair, body composition, stress management, how that shows up and how you look, all these types of things. So this is more of a fun one. It's honestly perfect for the summer. If a couple months from now listening to this, you have an event, this is for you. And I would recommend saving this episode, sharing it, but saving it because I have one very similar to this saved in my library of things that you can do. And then when you do have the event coming up closer to, you can listen to this again. Now, we are going to go through everything. So I'm going to talk about what glow actually is medically, if there is a way to put a medical spin on it. And then I'm going to get into the labs that you can do, nutrition, lifestyle biohacks, supplements, peptides. And then we're actually going to talk about breaking this down into a budget. So I wanted to add in if you have $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $100, what can you do that's going to move the needle the most? And so I'm going to do a full budget tier breakdown, $100 to $5,000 at the end, because I'm going to say a lot and a lot of this costs a lot. And so how do you know what to do and what's going to make the biggest difference? So let's dive right in without further ado. I really want to get into this. And by the way, please subscribe, listen, save, send, share, all those things. If you have questions, you can message me at Biohacking Brittany. I work with women one-on-one on longevity consulting and on peptides, which includes peptides. This week alone, I spoke to five different, I think it was five, I don't even know, might have been more than that. Five different women from all over the world who are seeking support with peptides and longevity, and it was amazing. So I do see women now one-on-one, and it's incredible. I do full protocols, full recommendations. I review your lab work, supplementation, nutrition, lifestyle, biohacking, everything like that. And it's been amazing to just be able to support women everywhere. Okay, so this is so interesting. I want to get into what glow actually is. So, if you see somebody and you're walking down the street and you're thinking, wow, that woman is glowing, or that guy is glowing, what does that actually mean? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that person is so beautiful or a 10 out of 10 or whatever words you want to use like that. There's often this sense of almost like confidence that comes from these type of people if you see them, or radiance even, and that is actually obtainable, that there is a way to obtain that. So glow, I'm gonna break down what that shows through in your body. Confidence is a big piece of it, but that's a little, this is not going to be a podcast episode about confidence, but we are going to talk first about collagen. And collagen is really the scaffolding here. So, collagen, as so many people know, are peptides. And this is a protein that is the mesh underneath your skin. Okay. It keeps it firm, bouncy, and plump. It's also in your hair and also in your nails. I think so many people know about collagen at this point. It's not new. And it is in my recommendations later on when I talk about supplements. Collagen is like a mattress almost. You want it to be full and springy, and this helps you to look more radiant versus it being worn down and it looking flat and you looking tired and like you don't have enough oomph underneath your skin. And the thing with collagen is it breaks down, right? It breaks down over time with age, with sun, and with sugar. Yes, with sugar. You lose about 1% a year from your mid 20s. And that is independent of your lifestyle. So if you are somebody who eats a lot of sugar, or you bake yourself in the sun, or you smoke or do any of those other type of habits, you likely are losing collagen faster. I'm going to talk about the sun in a little bit because I have a pretty, yeah, I'm on the fence with the sun. So I'll get into that in a second. But with sugar, you might be listening to this and think, oh, I'm not eating white sugar, so I'm fine. My collagen is fine. But the reality is that there is so much added sugar to everything. And sugar in itself is not the only thing that gets broken down that breaks down collagen, right? So it's not just white table sugar, it's all sugars. And that includes even the natural ones that we might think are more healthy, even if they're whole foods and even if they're paleo. So things like honey, maple syrup, even too much fruit, it all gets broken down into sugars and into carbohydrates. Well, it is carbohydrates in your body. It's broken down in your body. Raises your blood sugar, raises your insulin, but it doesn't, that all part doesn't even matter for this. It's just that it's actually broken down into sugar in your body. So when I say sugar, it's almost actually like sweeteners, sweet foods entirely, entirely. And that's not to say don't have any sweetness in your life, because obviously I think there is a time and place for it. It's just to really be cautious of how much you're adding in. So if you are baking and you're baking something paleo and you're putting a cup of maple syrup in it or honey or agave syrup, that's still sweetener. That's still being broken down into sugar. So we really just want to reduce that entirely. I think when it comes to fruit, whole fruit is much better. So whole fruit includes the nutrients in it, the vitamins, the minerals, everything like that, and it includes the fiber. And when we have the whole fruit, we're actually raising our blood sugar less, and there's less of an insulin spike as well. So we are able to have better control over our blood sugar when we eat fruit in its whole form. That's why if you have this 8-week period, cutting back sugar to and especially added sugars, including whole food sugars, is very smart. And that might be difficult. That might feel like, oh, I'm depriving myself. But again, if your glow is the number one thing and you want your skin bouncy and beautiful and reflecting light and your makeup to glide nicely and less acne and rosacea and all these things that we might be going on, reducing sugar and in any type of form is really necessary here. So you can rebuild your collagen with protein, with taking collagen peptides, like the actual supplement, vitamin C, and copper peptides. And this is where the GHKCU peptide really shines, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. The second lever that really happens here that causes the glow to go is glycation. And so this is exactly what I was just leaning towards, but it's talking about excess sugar in your blood binding to collagen and stiffening it. The end products are literally called AGEs. advanced glycation end products. It literally is called AGEs. So, in plain language, what this means is sugar is caramelizing your collagen. It becomes stiff, dull, sagging skin is often a blood sugar story, and it's not necessarily an aging story. And this matters because sugar hits everything, right? Your skin, but your sleep and your hormones all at once. And so those things as well also impact how your glow and how you show up. Steady blood sugar is anti-aging skincare from the inside out. Honestly, the best thing you can do for your skin. Over any supplement, over anything, it is a drastic reduction in any type of sweeteners and sugar in total. Okay, next up is inflammation. And I think a lot of people know about this, but let's actually talk about inflammation in its relationship to water retention and the puffiness. When we think of glow, and obviously we've all seen ourselves at our peak glowness, right? In the last year or a few years ago, or it comes and goes, which is totally normal. A lot of that is not when we are puffy and not when we have water retention. Puffiness, and I'll talk about my puffiness. Puffiness for me shows up as bags underneath my eyes for sure. So much so that I will take a cold eye serum and I will put it underneath my eyes in the morning and I will see a difference in my puffiness underneath my eyes will go down. So that's the puffiness. Water retention, you can feel in your stomach, in your abdominal area. Your jeans or your shorts or your pants are fitting tighter over your belly. And there are these times where we might have more water retention than normal. But with inflammation, so low grade internal irritation plus this fluid your body is holding shows up as this puffiness. It's like soft, undefined look and a flat tone. So again, this can show up in your face. Your face can also look fuller, but not in a better way. Your face can look puffy, almost like more circular and less defined where your chin is and where your cheekbones are. And with any type of event, and obviously this podcast episode is mostly for women, with any type of event, we want those high cheekbones, defined chin, and makeup only gets us so far. When we have a really puffy face, it's really hard to even contour that and make it look how we want it to look. Only so much we can do. So we want to calm that down. We want to drop that extra water weight and that puffiness, and we want more definition. So what drives the bloat? Let's talk about the body part for a second here. And I'm going to get into recommendations in much more detail. But what drives this bloat that I talked about? Say your abs aren't as defined, you might not even be able to see them, everything's fitting tighter, is too much processed food and sodium relative to potassium, alcohol, poor sleep, high cortisol, dehydration, and the luteal phase of your cycle. So let's break that down. Too much processed food, right? This is anything typically takeout food, food from a restaurant, food that's convenience food, anything like that. Anything that is packaged, ultra processed packaged food. Too much sodium relative to potassium. So this has to do with the chemical reaction that's actually happening within inside of your cells. And the way that you can combat this is electrolytes, which I will talk about in a second. Alcohol, absolutely. I actually just celebrated 1,000 days of being sober this week, which felt incredible. And when I used to drink alcohol, I was so puffy the next morning. Under my eyes, my face, you just look disheveled. And I looked disheveled when I used to drink. And I used to drink a lot. I went through a huge partying phase in my university life and then early 20s. So I've been there. I used to party 4 or 5 times a week. I was that person. And not really in a club because I didn't really live anywhere like that, but a lot of house parties and forced parties and things like that, which is hilarious looking back on it. But what was not hilarious was how you look the next day, or even how you look when you're drinking. So if you are doing this 8-week detox, cleanse, glow up protocol, which I love for you, cut the alcohol, like 100%. And listen, you might say, oh, in moderation, or there's nothing wrong with one glass of wine. I disagree. I think if you are serious about actually looking optimal and looking the best of the best in 8 weeks, there is no room for alcohol in that. There's none. It's 8 weeks. And also, I would really push back on that. If you can't go 8 weeks without alcohol, do you have a problem? Is this something that you need to address? Do you have a low-key addiction that you are ignoring? Because you should be able to step back for 8 weeks, for 2 months, and not have alcohol and it not be a big deal. And if it is a big deal, again, I think that that's potentially something that you might need to address in your life. Alcohol makes you puffy, makes you bloated, shows up in your face. You can tell, right? When you meet people now, especially now that I'm in my early 30s, I can see the people who drink and the people who don't when I meet them in person. Very obvious to see in their face. Saggy skin, puffiness around the eyes. And so I really encourage you to stop drinking before this event, before this trip that you're going on. Poor sleep, right? It goes hand in hand. Alcohol seriously disrupts your sleep, and poor sleep shows up in your skin, shows up in what you look like, and shows up in the motivation that you have. So if you are busting your butt in the gym for this event that you're going to, and you're drinking alcohol the night before, you're going to be hungover. You're going to be tired and you're going to be unmotivated to go and do your workout. So it's not just the alcohol that's causing the puffiness and the bloating and impacting digestion. It's impacting your sleep, and that's impacting how you show up the next day. I mean, I've done whole episodes on alcohol and I can again, but it also disrupts your hormones. It makes you hungrier the next day. So then you are now playing with your cravings and your hormones for cravings the next day. When I used to drink alcohol, and I think everyone has felt this, I would get so hungry the next day. And when I was drinking alcohol, and you eat way more than you normally eat. And so that doesn't make sense. That doesn't really fit in with this goal of glowing up in 8 weeks. High cortisol. So when you have high stress, that leads to an increase in inflammation in the body, and that shows up in your face and your body for sure. Tension in the forehead, along the eyes, a lot of scrunching of your skin, which obviously causes the fine lines and the wrinkles. And so just being really mindful of the couple of months leading up to this event and the stress load that you're carrying. Dehydration, which I'll talk about in a second, and then the luteal phase of your cycle. So this I absolutely experience. I definitely feel like I hold more water weight after I ovulate before my period, and then I feel way lighter after my period. And I think so many women feel that. The fix with this is the electrolytes, whole food, sleeping, walking, and managing stress. And we will talk more on the food in a second. The next lever here of what glow actually is related to our gut. And I think I need to do a full gut health protocol episode, and I will do that. But this has to do with the gut lining and the microbiome and how this directly influences your skin clarity and breakouts. Clear skin often starts in the gut and not in your bathroom cabinet with a whole bunch of products. Your skin reflects how your gut is internally. So, if you have a gut that's balanced, you have a lot of healthy probiotics in there, healthy bacteria, you have a control on any viruses that are in there, you have not a lot of leaky gut or no leaky gut at all, no dysbiosis, no real red flags, your skin is going to look clear. It's going to look very clear. I know that when I've had my own gut health issues, which is actually how I first got into this whole health space years ago, it was showing up in my skin for sure. And it's different for different people. So sometimes when the gut skin axis is not optimized, it can show up as eczema, especially for children. And sometimes it can show up as acne very often between the eyebrows, even the forehead, around the lips, that type of thing. And then it can also show up as rosacea as well. So there's always a gut skin axis here if you're having a flare up of your skin that you need to explore. Fixes for this would be things like fiber, polyphenols, hydration, and the BPC 157 peptide, which I'll talk about briefly in a second. The next lever that really impacts your glow here is your circulation and your lymph. And this is one I feel like people actually don't talk about. So, what this is the blood flow delivering oxygen and nutrients to your skin, hair, and nails, and the lymphatic system that drains the puffiness that we were just talking about. Circulation is that glow, and lymph really helps with the depuffing of the body. This is why a workout, a sauna, and a face or a facial massage actually makes you look better instantly. And that is because when you're working out, whatever you're doing, if you're lifting weights or you're stretching or yoga or anything like that, you are moving your muscles, you are moving the lymph in your body. You are increasing the circulation throughout your entire body, and you're increasing the lymph to move throughout the body. And the lymph really helps to bring down that puffiness. So, lymph, by the way, if you ever think I'm thinking of my experience with lymph. Is my lymph clogged or is my lymph not moving as it should? There's certain things that you can do to tell. So the biggest one that I've noticed is if you look at your face in the mirror, ideally with no makeup on, and you look right underneath your ears to where your jawline is, and if it feels really puffy, you know when you get sick and in your throat you can feel your lymph nodes are swollen? Is that happening to you all the time? Do you feel like you have a double chin all the time? And do you actually have a double chin from skin or excess fat around there in that area? Or is it the lymph is actually swollen up there and it's actually causing it to look like that? If that's something that you think you're experiencing, I encourage you to start doing some lymph massage yourself. See if it makes a difference. If it does make a difference, what I would do is I would start getting facial massages. And especially before an event, I would probably do them. Oh, if I felt like my lymph was stuck and not moving, I would probably do them. I'd probably do one or two before the trip or event that you're going on within that 8 weeks. And definitely do one a couple days before you leave, for sure. So the gua sha tool is really great for this. It pushes it down. I'm not going to do a whole tutorial on gua sha right now, but you can get a gua sha for your face. I have one from OneSkin. OneSkin is one of my favorite skincare brands. I'll link it in the show notes. They have peptide skincare. It's incredible. And you can just push it down away from your face. And then you can also do dry brushing as well. But sweat movement, so important here. So important to get that lymph moving and get rid of puffiness. Also, you want to look toned. When we think of glow up, and yes, this is a very aesthetics focused episode because we're literally talking about how to glow up in 8 weeks, okay? When we're talking about that, it's not just the skin, it is also the muscles. Doesn't matter if you're man or woman. Every single person likes a little bit of tone in their muscles. And if you are puffy, you're not going to look toned. You see how, if you're watching the video, you see, I mean, a little bit right now. I'm not, obviously not flexing, but you want a little bit of bicep muscle showing through, right? Same with the glutes, same with the legs. Legs are beautiful, man or woman. Everyone loves a toned leg. Everyone loves a toned calf. So how do we get that to happen? And part of that is removing the puffiness that's around there. And we do that through circulation, through sweating, through movement, dry brushing. You can dry brush your entire body as well. And the last lever here is body composition and also hormones in relation to that. So, of course, we have to talk about body composition, and that is a part of this episode. I am going to be talking about if you are trying to lose weight in 8 weeks, of course. I'm not going to leave that out and assume that that's not something that most women or most people want. We do want to talk about that, but we also want to reframe and make sure we focus on building muscle, keeping low water retention and balanced hormones at the same time. Cortisol, which is known as the stress hormone, breaks down collagen. I already talked about that with shedding your hair and puffing your face as other symptoms that can come from it. But if you calm it down, you figure out what stress management tools that you have for you, what does a regulated nervous system look like for you, you actually get to have the hair that starts growing again, the collagen, the skin, the beautiful skin that's coming through, and the lack of puffiness on the face. This is why we manage stress. This is why it's important. The thyroid and the ferritin, and I'm going to talk about labs right now in a second here. The thyroid is really important in relation to this body composition and hormones discussion because thyroid is what drives our energy, part of what drives our energy. And if we don't have a thyroid that's functioning really well, if we're feeling tired and fatigued, how the heck are we going to do a workout after or before a day of work, let alone throwing kids into the mix? The low thyroid or low iron as well is a top cause for thinning hair and dull skin. So not only for the thyroid, actually low iron also causes you to be tired, so there's that as well, but it does play a role in hair and skin. So testing and getting that tested is so important. Insulin, we talked about with the sugar, with the clearer skin here, helps really with keeping you, making sure you're not eating too much sugar, keeping everything balanced, and it not impacting acne breakouts or anything like that. And then the estrogen is really important too, right? Because estrogen keeps your skin thick and hydrated. And that is why when women go through menopause and their estrogen drops, they experience much thinner skin and they also experience dry skin, dry hair as well. It is because of the estrogen decline. You cannot serum your way out of a hormonal problem in relation to this, and you cannot glow while your body is holding on to stress and water. So we have to bring all of that in. I'm not just going to say, here, take these peptides to lose weight so you look better in 8 weeks when your hormones are unbalanced. You have to bring the hormones in here. Glow is not a product that you buy. I mean, I wish, right? Like I just buy one single product and be glowing from the inside out every single day. Glow is the body that you build. It is the small actions that you take so that you can glow every single day or as much as you can or possibly want to. So, those are the levers and things or levers that we want to pull when we're talking about my recommendations here and how everything fits together. If you want to run some labs, you can. And I would suggest doing it immediately. If you legit have this 8 week runway, or maybe you even have 12 weeks, I mean, obviously, the more time you have, the better, right? And it's never a bad time to glow up. It's post breakup, post maybe you went through a hard chapter in your life, something else, you're moving, whatever it is. There's always a good time to have a glow up. There's no bad time. But if you do have something serious in 8 weeks, order labs immediately because you have to order them, pay for it, go do it, wait for results. It's not an overnight thing that you can do. If you're based in the US, absolutely go do Function Health. Man, I'd be an ambassador for them. I'm not, but they are incredible. They have really, really great labs that you can do and get some data on what's going on with you, right? Because, for example, and I'm going to tell you which ones to get, ferritin, if you see that your ferritin levels are low and you start supplementing with a really high quality iron and you bring in more iron rich foods, suddenly you have more energy, your skin looks better, your hair stops falling out, and that's a quick win within a few weeks. So, and so many women have low ferritin. I've had low ferritin before, and you want it between 50 to 100, not 12 or 16, just so you know. Okay, so do your ferritin. Thyroid, which we just talked about, TSH, free T3, and TPO antibodies. Ideally, you get a full thyroid workup with 6 different ones that you can order. And thyroid drives hair, skin, and weight. A, a sluggish thyroid mimics aging. It actually also mimics menopause, just so you know, like the symptoms of it. So if you're feeling any of this, go get your lab work done. If you are not in the States, in Canada, you can do Cyfox, Naya Health, you can go through a private doctor. Globally, find a doctor that you can do it through or do an at-home test. There's so many at-home companies now. That's what I would do. So much so that I'm actually, when I go to, in December, I'm going to Vegas for a conference, a longevity medicine conference. I'm actually going to go do Function Health when I'm in Vegas because I want to get it done and I can't do it in Canada yet. Look at your fasting insulin and HbA1c, and this is directly tied to your sugar. So if you're listening to me and you're like, I don't believe you, Brittany, I feel like I have a complete control over my sugar, it's fine. That's fine. Go and get tested and prove to yourself that you're right. Okay. If your fasting insulin is high, if your HbA1c is high, that shows that what you think you're eating and how it's impacting your body is not aligned. HbA1c is a 3-month blood sugar average in a percentage form. You want this low. And I'm not talking 5.7 low. I'm not talking 5.4. I like to see a 4.9. When I see a 4.9 or a 5.0 percentage, I know that the woman I'm talking to has it together. She is doing her best. She knows she's got the data. She's trying. She's dialed in. She's dialed in. So please get your blood sugar tested. Make sure you are understanding how is my nutrition impacting my insulin and blood sugar long term. Because then again, if it's at a very, very optimal, healthy level, now you're like, great, this is not something I need to focus on for my glow up because I already have it dialed in. If you get your results back and they're high, maybe they're pre-diabetic high, you know that that is the number one thing you need to focus on is updating and fixing your diet and so that it can help you glow. Not to mention all of the things that are related to high blood sugar over time, diabetes, all of the health complications that come with that, etc. Vitamin D and zinc would be the next ones that I would do. Vitamin D shows up in your mood and in your energy and your mental health. Again, if you are trying to get your butt in the gym, if you are trying to get more steps, like if you're doing a lot, you need that high vitamin D level. Helps you feel good, it helps you feel motivated and energized. Zinc is really, really important for breakouts in skin. If you have acne, you need to get your zinc levels tested. Absolutely get your zinc levels tested. Zinc is also important if you are taking the GHKCU peptide. The GHKCU peptide is a copper peptide, right? So think about it. You're constantly putting copper in your body, and you actually need to balance that with zinc. I suggest zinc lozenges, zinc chewables, get it in your diet. Next up, you can do your hormones. You could do estradiol, testosterone, and DHEAS. And these are the hormones that really keep skin thick and help with your hair feeling full. Low testosterone, be careful, especially for a woman. This again shows up as energy, low mood, low motivation, hard to get out of bed in the morning. Low estrogen is thin skin, hair falling out. So get your hormones done. This is probably one of a test like this, to be honest. Let's say it looks at 50 different biomarkers, is potentially the best use of your money out of everything I'm going to mention today. Because getting that data is so valuable to understand what is causing you to feel like you're not glowing, first of all, which is a great question. And then secondly, what are the steps that you need to take? Instead of you buying 12 different supplements, changing how you eat and doing all these different things, maybe you don't need that. And the only way that you would know that is by running labs and running your data. Okay. All right. So let's get into the pillars and what can actually help here. Okay. The first one is nutrition. So nutrition is so important. It has to be dialed in. You have to be clocked in for these 8 weeks. And I'm not saying go on a diet for 8 weeks. I'm saying this needs to be so intentional in order for the glow to come through. Your skin, hair, and your body and your muscles Everything in your body is built from nutrition. Everything, everything. Peptides, of course, help, but your food supplies the raw materials that the peptides work with. So you have to have nutrition dialed in. You can't just take peptides to get a glow if you're eating like crap. So the first recommendation is protein at every single meal. I think listeners of this podcast know this. If you are not eating enough protein, you're doing it wrong, especially as a woman. I want you to start looking at your plate. And when you look at your plate, how many palmfuls of protein are on your plate? Is it half a palm? Is it maybe one palm? I would challenge you to push it to 2 palms. 2 palms of chicken, 2 palms of eggs, 2 palms of ground beef, whatever you're having. The ideal is 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. And get it in after your workouts. Protein is the building blocks for skin, hair, and muscle. And this is so important. If you are, and I'll talk about this in a second, but if you're working out and you're breaking down that muscle to rebuild it, you need the protein to rebuild it. And ideally, it's within an hour after you work out. So figure out how to make a protein smoothie that works for you. Most women eat about half of the protein that their body actually needs. And I know this. Do you know how many women I work with where we talk about protein and it kills me inside because they, they eat such little protein? And I want to be so real with you. When I started focusing on protein, I really struggled with this as well. What I would do is I would literally have a glass of water and I would add a scoop of protein to it. And I would try to do that 2 or 3 times a day. And that's it. Even make it a smoothie. I didn't even add anything else because I just wanted to get the protein in. It was fast in between calls with a kid on the go, whatever, and it was easy. So just find a protein powder that you love and start adding in protein and water 2, 3 times a day. Because actually think about that for a second. If you do that and your protein powder is 25 grams of protein per scoop, you're adding 50 to 75 grams a day of extra protein on top of your meals. That's not even changing how you eat. If you weigh 140 pounds, now you have over half of what you need. And then you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're likely going to hit that 140-gram goal. I challenge you to increase your protein for these 8 weeks. You will see a difference. I kid you not, you will see a difference in your muscles. Like at how my shoulders look now when I'm working out, or how much I can actually lift. And then your hair starts growing longer and your nails are growing faster. And it's great. It's like the ultimate hack. But I will say with protein, increasing your protein and expecting the glow results takes time. So this is the one thing that there's a few, but this is one that you want to start right away. If you have an 8-week runway right now, you need to buy your new protein powder today to this episode. You need to go and buy it because you're going to notice a difference in how your muscles look, and your skin and hair will probably take about a month to notice a difference, maybe 3 weeks, but typically you need some time there for it to actually kick in. Protein powders I recommend is I would do, depends if you are vegetarian, vegan, where you're standing with that. Whey protein is easily the best. It is the most bioavailable in the body. It has the best amino acid profile. It's the most robust. You get the most amount of protein per grams per scoop. So that means that you can have a smaller scoop and you get more protein in it, and that's really nice. So grass-fed, grass-finished, very, very important. A lot of them come from New Zealand, and those are the best. I don't tolerate whey, so I actually can't do whey, so I don't. So I do a brand called Vega Sport, and that's great. It's not as great as whey, but it's up there. A blend of different vegetarian proteins, pea protein, hemp, pumpkin, chia, there's a bunch in there. The amino acid profile on it is very strong. 30 grams of protein per scoop, but the scoops are big. And that sucks, but that's what you pay for having a vegetarian protein source. So that's what I do. After my workouts, I do coffee, milk, scoop of protein powder, creatine, sometimes collagen peptides, sometimes ice, sometimes cinnamon, and that's it. And I drink that every single morning after I work out. Speaking of collagen, we definitely want you taking collagen peptides. 15 to 20 grams daily. You might as well take 20 grams, and you can add in vitamin C there as the cofactor. Vitamin C helps with the absorption of collagen. There is a real data on skin elasticity and hydration and the relationship to collagen. And it's easy to add this in. Something to note, and I talked to a woman I was working with this week about this. Adding collagen to your coffee is great. However, if the coffee is boiling hot, you are denaturing some of the collagen peptides, unfortunately. So you actually need to wait. You need to wait until that coffee temperature comes down, maybe 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is. And then you add the collagen to it. Personally, I don't mess around with it. I feel like I don't know the exact temperature. I'm not going to take the temperature of my coffee. So, because I add a whole bunch of almond or coconut milk to my morning protein shake, you can call it, I just add the collagen into there, and the milk has already cooled down the coffee. So, there's no concern of the coffee overheating the collagen peptides and wasting them. So, figure out what works for you. Maybe even just add it straight to water. Just know that heat can denature them, and we don't want that. It's just a waste of money then, right? Not absorbing them properly. Hydration, so important here. Seen somebody who's super hydrated and you're like, wow. And the compliments are so interesting, by the way, when somebody is healthy and is glowing, because it's not a compliment of, wow, your makeup looks so nice. The compliment is always, wow, you look great, right? It actually has nothing to do with the outfit or the makeup, the underneath part that's coming through. And that is actually related a lot to hydration. When we are dehydrated, it shows up everywhere, everywhere. And we need electrolytes, not just water. Sodium, potassium, magnesium in balance are actually what help to hydrate our cells, plump the skin, and keep you from cramping in training as well. Plain water alone can leave you puffy and flat. I use, well, actually, are they out yet? I think they just launched. So I use these brand new electrolytes called Tidal, like Tidal. Am I spelling that right? Tidal, like a tidal wave. And it's from the Baja Gold Salt Company. And you guys know that I love this salt company. I have been rooting with them for, I don't even know, a year or two now. And they're the best. And so they actually just came out with electrolyte powder. There's all these different flavors, super clean. That's what's in my water right now when I'm recording this episode. You can use my discount code. I think it's biohacking Brittany, and you get a discount on all their salts, all their electrolytes. And they actually just came out with pre-workout, and I have the pre-workout as well. And I love a little bit of pre-workout, especially on hard, heavy lifting days. So their pre-workout is their salt electrolytes, and I think it's 100 milligrams of caffeine. So super clean, highly recommend. So many pre-workouts are terrible. They have so much sugar in them. They have way too much caffeine. They have way too much additives. They have colorants, literally for the gym bros who are just not who you want to be around. So I like this brand, Baja Gold Salt in general. I know the founder, Michael, he's great. And yeah, really recommend them. All of their, just so you know, all their salt and their electrolytes and everything come from the ocean, the sea salt, and it's in Mexico. So their process is really cool. They do a lot, and yeah, very robust products. So that is Baja Gold Salt. Tidal electrolytes. I will put the link in my show notes. Discount code, I think, is biohacking Brittany. So eat anti-glycation, which is a funny way to put it, but vegetables, protein, and fat before carbs, and kill the sugar spikes. Of course, this is like an anti-sugar podcast episode because it caramelizes collagen, it wrecks your sleep, and it swings your hormones. Do this. I just want to say, if this is your wedding, you are the bride and you're listening to this, Oh my God, I would literally do everything that I've listed here. I I remember when I was a bride, I it like you should see the list on my phone of the things that I did. I was like I could only see my wedding and nothing else mattered. You know, you get tunnel vision with it. And I did a ton of this stuff before my wedding. Like I did everything. So yeah, it was outrageous. After the wedding, you have the come down and you're like, wow, that was a lot. But it's worth it. So yes, if you are the bride, absolutely. And please, if you are the bride and your wedding is in 8 weeks and you care a lot and you want to be glowing, all kudos to you. Cut the sugar. You will thank yourself. And by the way, I think I kind of hinted towards this. Alcohol is broken down into sugar in the body, just so you know. So not only are you getting the, let's say, poison from it, for lack of a better word, and everything that does for you to have to detoxify that, but it's broken down into actual sugar, which has all the impact that I'm talking about with your blood sugar, your sleep, and your hormones and everything else. So the de-bloating is important here when we talk about diet because we do want to drop water weight, right? It's not about the number on the scale. It's more of we want our muscles to look toned and we want our face to look toned. So that comes with electrolytes, balancing sodium with potassium. Most women have that backwards. And more whole food potassium foods and less packaged sodium. So less crackers, chips, anything that has high sodium in it. Whole foods over processed foods any day of the week. This alone will drop a lot of water weight. Magnesium, sleep, daily walks, managing cortisol, since stress hormone also holds your fluid here. Do not restrict during this time. I'm not telling you to eat a certain amount of calories. I'm not even telling you to eat a certain diet. I'm saying whole foods, really cut down the sugar. That is going to make the biggest difference here. It doesn't matter if you have vegetarian or paleo, you still have to be getting your protein in any possible way. And that is totally up to you on what those sources look like. If nothing else, for this section, hit your protein, hydrate with electrolytes, and kill the sugar. This honestly could be the name of this episode. This will be the biggest thing for your visible glow. Also, I wonder, and I bet there is, I have so many women who follow me who are so into health optimization. It's so funny. The messages they send me on Instagram, and they're probably going to listen to this episode and do all of this just for the fact that they want to be glowing every single day of their life. And there's no 8 week event that they're leading up to. And that is totally fine because that's how I live my life. So the constant glow is what we're really going for. And that's cool too. Your face and your midsection can really change from these diet changes. So just like you can even track that if you wanted. You could take before and after photos. That would be really interesting. Or you could do measurements, whatever you want. It's up to you. It's your body. It's always your choice. It's always your choice, regardless of what everybody says, right? Okay. Pillar number 2, lifestyle and biohacks. Lifestyle is the environment your skin, hair, and muscle grow in. Some of these are fringe, and that's fine because I feel like some of my listeners are fringe, and that's why you're here. So you got to be lifting heavy 3 times a week. And when I say heavy, put the 5 pound weight down, please. Lift up the 15 and do 3 reps, put it down, rest for 2 minutes, and do it again. Stop with this 10 pound or 10 rep, 5 pound situation. We need to be lifting heavy. Strength training builds the muscle that reads as toned and lifts the whole frame. So if you're going to an event and think about it, you're wearing a dress, okay? Are you showing off your shoulders, your arms, your back, your legs? Sure, amazing. You want your muscle to really help give you that toned look. You have to build it. You have to build it, and you build it by lifting heavy. Now, there's other components to that, and I'm not a fitness trainer of any sort. I just have my own experience and my own research, but you have to be lifting heavy. For example, right now, my hip thrust weight that I'm doing is 165 pounds. It's more than I weigh for my hip thrusts. I literally did that yesterday. And and by the way, I did 4 sets of 4 and 5-second pause at every hip thrust. 4 sets of 4 for that, okay? So pick for 8 weeks, you can 100% follow a workout plan and see results. 100%. That is enough time. You have to stick to it and you have to be pushing yourself. You lift the weights, is your heart rate going up? How many reps do you have left by the time you're done? Do you have another 5 reps in you? That means the weight is too low. You're not going to get results, right? By being comfortable in the gym. Sorry to say it, it's just not going to happen. So do what you need to do to push yourself in the gym so you get the results after. That could mean more time. Maybe you need to figure out your childcare. Maybe you need to leave work early. Maybe you need to get up earlier in the morning. Maybe you need to stop scrolling on your phone and stop watching TV. Get to the gym, take your pre-workout if you need to. I take pre-workout. I don't judge people who take pre-workout. Sometimes we need it. And bring your electrolytes and do your workout. Get your motivating music on. Listen to podcasts. I switch it up every day. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's podcasts. If you are looking for a program, the app that I'm doing right now is called Booty by Brett. It's great. I did his book program, I don't even know, 5 years ago. The app is great and it's hard. It pushes you. It pushes you. But I wanted something, and I think I'm on week 2 with it. I wanted something that would be booty and leg and glute focused, but also incorporate the full body. And so that's what this is. On top of that, I layer on sauna, walking, Peloton, and what else? Mobility and stretching. So figure out what app works for you or classes, whatever you need to do. The next thing here for lifestyle is VO2 max training once or twice a week, and you don't need to overdo this. Even just once a week for 8 weeks is great. Short intervals or sprints, the hard but brief kind for a lean conditioned look and cardiovascular health. Even once a week. I'm not saying do HIIT often because we don't want to overdo it and lead to high cortisol for you. And this will puff you back up, and that's not what we want. Once a week is fine. If you have a very stressful life, potentially leave this to the side for now. Sleep, 7 to 9 hours, absolutely. Sleep is so, so important. You have to recover, you have to heal. When we don't sleep, get enough sleep, you can tell. The bags under your eyes, the wrinkles, you're tired, you eat more, you're puffy. It's in everywhere. You're not working out, you're not hydrating. No, sleep is so, so important. Growth hormone, when it pulses at night, is what repairs your skin, lowers the cortisol that ages you, and the puffiness that happens there. There is no serum in the world that can compete with a good night's sleep. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled, okay? 7 to 9 hours. Buy an Aura ring. Go for it. I just bought a new one. I'm waiting for mine to arrive. Start tracking your sleep and take it seriously, because if you sleep well for 8 weeks, woo, you're going to show up to this event glowing. And if you don't, I'm going to be able to tell. Daily SPF in the morning plus morning lights. Oh, the SPF debate. Mineral sunscreen every day. There is research that shows that it helps with aging skin. My take on this is what I do. As somebody who goes south in the winters, okay? I think that the sun is very healing. And I don't think it's a smart idea, and this is above and beyond this podcast episode right now. I don't think it is a good idea to block the sun from our bodies. I think it's healing. I think it has a role in the hormonal cascade. I think it has a massive impact on our mental health and our stress. And to me, it doesn't make sense to block it from our entire body. And so I don't. What I do is I put on my face. I use OneSkin, the peptide skincare company, and I will link them. I have a discount code biohacking Brittany with them. They have a SPF tint, a tint cream. It also comes not tinted, and I put that on my face. I put it on my face when I go out in the sun. I reapply when I'm in the sun, when I'm out boating, anything like that. I'll put it on my face. I'm in the summer or when I'm in the tropics, I will put it on in the morning. But I do not put on sunscreen everywhere on my body and just completely block it and everything like that because I just think that there are healing benefits and I want the sunshine into my cells. And that's personally where I stand. I also always wear a hat when I go outside. Always. I'm a hat Nazi now. I'm not a sunglasses girly because again, I like the sun on my eyes. I think it's healing for my eyes. But yeah, I'm a hat person 1,000% now. And that's fine. So figure out what works for you. And there's so many sunscreens that are also have so many chemicals in them and are have their own issues. So do with that what you will. And then last but not least, sweat, like we talked about, but also the part that is related to not working out, the saunas and the lymphatic work here. If you can get into a sauna for 2 to 3 weeks leading up to your trip or events, absolutely that is going to help with your glow. It will help to detox your entire body and your skin. Plus, if you do dry brushing, gua sha, an ice roller, things like that, that will definitely help with circulation. Circulation is glow. And lymph helps you to depuff. We want the lymph to be moving in the body and depuffing the entire lymphatic system. We want it to be moving. You could also add red light therapy in here, but honestly, I don't know. I think there's so many other things that you can do to help with a glow up in 8 weeks versus red light therapy. If you do nothing else and you only do a couple things from this, I would focus on sleep and lifting heavy. Okay, let's talk about supplements. So, collagen peptides, we already covered. 20 grams daily. You can add in some vitamin C, and that one's very easy. The next one is creatine. Creatine is incredible, and I wish I was taking it more earlier. Creatine pulls water into your cells. So it literally makes your muscles look fuller and more toned. And it concentrates in the muscle, including your glutes. Creatine literally makes you have bigger glutes. So it doesn't happen overnight. You need a few weeks for this to kick in. Start right away. 5 grams every single day. Do not miss this. Do not miss this. It also helps with strength. It helps you to do more and lift more weights and do more reps in the gym. There's been studies on this. Creatine is actually the most studied supplement in the entire world, even more than protein powder now. And it helps with cognition, so it helps with mood as well. It's not going to cause you to be bloated. People talk about that. Oh, I'm going to have water weight if I go on creatine. That's not how that works. Intracellular water, it is the good kind, the toned kind, and it's in your muscles and helps your muscles to look bigger. Especially your glutes and your glute muscles get to be fuller. Who wants bigger glutes should be taking it. Electrolytes daily, I've talked about this. Baja Gold Salt, their new Tidal ones are the best. If you're taking Element, stop while you're taking them. They have been proven to raise your blood sugar. Even though they say their sugars are natural or whatever they claim, there has been studies that have proven otherwise. And that explains why they are so addictive. I used to take Element all the time and then I threw it all out. It's also so expensive. And why? Why is it so expensive? For what? Salt and fake sugar that actually is raising your blood sugar? No, thank you. Stick to Baja Gold Salt, much better company. You could just do their plain salt or buy their new electrolytes as well. You could do a methylated B complex in the morning. This is great for energy and methylation. And we really want this, especially if you have any MTHFR gene variant here that makes you poor methylator, like myself. The active forms of folate and B12 really are great because your body can use them. This is more of an energy situation here and helps you to show up better for everything that you're doing. I talked about the clean pre-workout and the protein powder. And so if nothing else, this one's a hard one because honestly, you should kind of do it all. Protein, collagen, creatine, electrolytes. Sorry. It all makes a huge difference. It does. I can't even lie. I mean, you'll notice a difference within 3 to 4 weeks with all of it. To look super toned and wherever you're going, muscle wise, and also help your hair and skin and those things. This is the stack. All right, peptides, everyone's favorite topic. So, This is the fun part. Peptides for aesthetics. Of course, there are peptides for aesthetics. There are the signals that tell your skin, hair, fat, and energy systems what to do. So let's start with the skin. First of all, GHKCU, the copper peptide, the known as the beauty peptide. Of course, this is the one that we have to talk about. This is a copper bound peptide your body already makes. It drives collagen and elastin and it remodels skin, calms inflammation, and signals hair follicles. It hits skin firmness, wrinkles, glow, and hair in one molecule. Firmer, plumper skin, fewer fine lines, brighter tone, and hair regrowth, nail regrowth. And studies have actually shown this. And it actually rivals Exidil. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. Dosing here, you can do it topically or you can inject it. So there's a topical serum, there's shampoos now, any of that, that's fine. Don't have to worry about dosing for that. And then injectable is stronger and you can do 2 to 2.5 milligrams per day subcutaneously for skin and hair goals. Absolutely. If you're going to do any single peptide for your glowing up right now, you need to be on GHKCU every single night. And I would go straight to 2.5 milligrams for this period of your life. Know that there tends to be a reaction on the body when you take it. Things that you, and like the reaction will look like itchiness, a red lump, or a bump on the skin. How you can mitigate this is inject it into your syringe. Let the syringe go to room temperature about half an hour later after taking it out of the fridge, and then inject it into your belly. Rotate your injection sites. I do this. I rotate, I go thigh, thigh, belly, thigh, thigh, belly. Otherwise, you're getting lumps, bruises everywhere. You can dilute it with more bacteriostatic water so that the concentration is less. And so when you're putting it in to your body, there's less GHKCU right there sitting underneath the skin, right? It disperses faster because there's more liquid. It also disperses faster when it's body temperature, right? Versus it being cold and being stuck and making a lump right underneath the skin. This peptide, my personal history with it was I went through the copper uglies, as they call it. So the first week or two, your skin gets worse. And I went through that, and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, what? And what that was for me, just so you know, is like texture. And my cheeks would have texture on them, like bumpiness. And I was like, what is this? And you just keep going, you write it out, you keep taking it, and it goes away. Happens to so many people. It goes away. The copper uglies go away. Don't worry. You ideally want to be starting this right away because I didn't notice a difference in my skin until about 6 weeks after being on it. I noticed a difference in my nails right away, and then my hair a little bit, and then my skin. So it takes a while. Next one is melanotan 1 and melanotan 2. So these are like the tanning peptides. They stimulate the melanocortin system, and this boosts melanin, so your skin tans with less UV exposure. So this is like a sun-kissed glow without baking in the sun. So these are two different peptides though, right? So melanotan 1 is the more selective one. It's mainly pigment. It's a cleaner side effect profile. Melanotan 2 is broader. It tans you and also tends to increase libido and blunt appetite a bit as well. So there are other effects there. Have the more side effects like nausea or flushing that can happen as well. What you can do for this is it gives you that natural looking tan, which is nice before an event or a vacation with less sun needed or less sun aging. Melanotan 2 does have the boost in reducing your appetite and increasing your libido. I would, you could order this and I would take it. What I would do personally, though, is I would take it right away when you get it for a couple of weeks and see what you look like with this type of tan. Don't wait until the week before your event because you might not like how dark you got. You might not like the actual color of the tone of the tan that comes through. So experiment a little bit here and don't just wait until right before. The other caveat here as well is that this peptide, you need to go into the sun to activate it. And ideally it's about 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes. So You can't just take it in the morning and then sit inside all day and expect to be tanned. I guess the way that it works with the UV exposure from the sun, with the pigment in your skin, it needs a little bit in order to get it through, in order for the tan to come through. I have this sitting in my fridge. I have not tried this. I think I am going to try it though, because I'm in the sun enough now. I'm curious to see what it looks like, that type of thing. Titrate slowly to the color that you want. I would start with a lower dose and go from there. It darkens your existing moles, by the way, and freckles, and that usually happens first. And then the rest of the skin follows. So just note that and be mindful. Any history of skin cancer, this is definitely not the peptide for you at all. Keep an eye on those moles that are changing. And if there is something that is happening that you're questioning, definitely stop taking it. For body weight, the heavy hitter here is retatrutide, of course, for fat loss. This is a triple agonist, or people are calling it a GLP-3. It hits the GLP-1, the GIP, and the glucagon receptors all at once. So basically, it curbs appetite, steadies blood sugar, and nudges metabolism harder than any of the other single or double agonists that are out there. This is a smart play. I mean, if you have a significant amount of weight that you want to lose, this is your best bet in 8 weeks. Absolutely. There is no other weight loss or body composition peptide that will touch what Retta does in that time frame. That's the reality. It tells you anything different, just not being honest with you. Save this for the people who are looking to lose more than, I don't know, 20, 30 pounds. Save it for you. If you're looking to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds, I don't know if I would take it. I would be very careful taking it and how much you're taking it. Trials show around a 5% body weight loss by week 4. And this obviously fits the 8-week countdown. It does help balance blood sugar, and there is real fat loss here. I think it's in phase 2 still of clinical trials with the FDA. Once it is approved by the FDA, it will become the next Ozempic, and the price will quadruple of what it is right now, just so you know. You do it once a week, weekly subcutaneously injection, microdose and titrate your way up. Watch the nausea. I have tried this, by the way, and I did a small amount. I was doing 0.5 milligrams. Yeah. And I got nauseous on it, a little bit nauseous on it here and there throughout the week. So be careful with it, because that can happen. And again, I would keep this for the people who are looking to lose a significant amount of weight within the 8 weeks. The next up one would be AOD 9604. This is more of the gentle fat peptide, fat loss peptide. It is a fragment of the growth hormone, and it really targets fat burning only. There's no growth or IGF-1 signal. What does this mean? So basically, they took the growth hormone, they cut off the snippet that is related to fat loss, and this snippet is the AOD peptide that relates to losing fat only. It leans out the body without touching the growth pathway, which I like. So for anybody who is under the age of 35, anybody who is postpartum, anybody who wants kids in the near future, things like that, you don't want to touch your hormones, this is the one for you. I'm taking this right now. I like it. I take a small amount, usually Monday to Friday, and it just helps to reduce belly fat or any extra fat you have on your body. It's very gentle. It's good for beginners to stack. You take it fasted in the morning. I like it for that reason. But I also was not looking to lose 10 pounds or anything like that at all, right? And so that's why that fits me and my profile specifically. Next peptide would be MOTS-c. This one I recommend if you're looking for something for energy, workouts, and metabolism is a huge one, because again, energy is going to get your butt into the gym to work out or exercise and go for a run, whatever you're doing. It helps your mitochondria make more AMPK, and this is the cellular switch for burning fuel and using insulin well. And that is how it impacts your metabolism. It gives you the energy to actually train through these 8 weeks and supports your body composition as well. I did notice a difference on this when I was taking it. I'm not taking it right now. I noticed a difference on feeling more energetic, feeling like I could do more in the gym, lift more, have more reps, and it was wonderful. I think everyone should take this. Trillions of mitochondria in our bodies. With our lifestyle and society now, our mitochondria is not healthy. It's just not. Same with our gut health, right? So if we can take something like MOTS-C every now and then, support the mitochondria, we really should. I will probably do another round of MOTS-C probably in the fall. I'm taking a full break. I don't need it right now. Yeah, I did notice a difference on it. And I titrated up, but dosing is 5 to 10 milligrams, 2 to 3 times a week, that type of thing. Nothing more than that. And you don't want to be on it forever. I did it for 8 weeks and then I came off of it. So you could do it for this 8 weeks glow up period, stop, and then go on your trip, go to your event, and then maybe see if you need it in the future. The next one I would do, wow, it's a lot of peptides for this one, is C-Link, only because of the stress that can come with events. So again, if it's your wedding, oh my God, I wish I had C-Link at my wedding. Oh, that would have been nice. Just with the stress of it. This is my favorite peptide for women. It really lowers your stress. It puts you in a better mood. I take it right now. I took it this morning. It nudges GABA and serotonin for a calm feeling without sedation, supports BDNF, and your brain's repair signal. We want you to have control over your stress. We don't want you to have anxiety and overwhelm. It shows up in your skin, shows up in your life, it shows up in how you look. It really does. Cortisol breaks down collagen, it sheds hair, it puffs up your face. So, lowering the stress load protects your entire glow up. You will notice that you will feel calmer, have a steadier mood, and pretty soon, I noticed a difference within week one of taking it. So typically it's 250 to 300 micrograms in the morning. You can take it nasally or you can do subcutaneous injection. I would do subcutaneously. There's more of a systemic effect and you will get more from it. The last one here with peptides is the BPC 157. And this is the skin gut healer. We talked about the gut health and the gut, and that is so important because we do want a healthy, strong gut so that we are absorbing all the nutrients from our food, which impacts how our skin is built, hair and nails, and how our muscles are built as well. This peptide was literally found in the gut lining. All right. So it is really, really important for healing the gut skin axis. And it will help to clear your skin through healing your gut. It speeds up recovery from training and treatments, so you actually have less downtime in between workouts. Or if you hurt yourself working out or doing something, you recover faster when you take BPC 157. It leads to a calmer gut, clearer skin, and faster healing. And the typical dose is about 250 to 500 micrograms per day subcutaneously, morning and night. You want to keep up your BPC levels high throughout the 24 hours. So that's why you break it up into doses, morning and night. You can also do it orally. I have not done it orally. I can't speak to it. I know there are a lot of people who like the oral version and have had gut health success with it orally. And you can run this for 4 to 8 weeks. You could run this the entire 8 week glow up as well. Okay, I think that is a beautiful stack. You would be on top of the supplements, the nutrition, the lifestyle. Girl, you're going to be glowing. That is doing the most that you could do. Okay, I'm going to skip the full routine because I've done that before on my skin episode. And I want to dive into the budget tiers. Because I think this is, I want to be realistic with you. And I know that there's women listening to this all over the world, and some have $5,000 and some have $50. And so let's talk about what you can actually do depending on where you're at. So the first one is the $100 a month. And this is the foundation that does 80%. Okay. So if you have $100, protein and collagen powder, electrolytes, creatine are really where you want to spend your money here. You should be able to, $100 a month, you'll definitely be able to get all of that. $100 in total, probably not. But I think those will move the needle the most. Any extra money, $100 a month, spend it on the Whole Foods or a gym membership. Or even, actually, you don't even need a gym membership. You could just use a free workout app or even a YouTube channel and follow those types of workouts. Consistency here is the whole flex if that's your budget. Next up is $500. What I would do is I would do a quality supplement stack, like we talked about, do a clean pre-workout. So I would add in the Baja Gold pre-workout, and I would probably do the GHKCU topical serum, or even the One Skin peptide products would be helpful here too. You could get a gua sha and start to work on the puffiness and being able to tone your face, your chin, your cheekbones, even an ice roller. Those are super cheap on Amazon. That could be really great as well. You could also do a sauna access. So obviously you can't buy sauna for $500, but you could buy passes to a local longevity clinic and use a sauna there. $1,000, I would add in the tech and the pro layer here. This is where I would probably start doing the peptides, right? So you can add in some of the peptides that we talked about. I would probably do something, depends on your goal. Body composition is something that you are concerned about. Adding retatrutide is going to move the needle the most. Then I would add in GHKCU because I think that really does show up in your skin. And also add in potentially BPC 157, which is not an expensive peptide. And that's on top of, right, all of the other supplements that I just listed, the pre-workout, the protein, everything like that, and including the sauna access. If we increase this to $2,000, I would add in all of the other peptides. So MOTS-C, I think would be great. And I think you could do a facial like PRP or PRF. I have done these many times and they are beautiful. Make your skin glow. So the only caveat here is that with these types of facials, you need time to heal and see the results. So you need about 6 weeks. So you have to do it right away. Because essentially what they do is they pull your blood, they spin it, they remove the liquid gold, they inject it back into your face, they do the microneedling. You have to heal from that, which let's say that takes a week to get rid of that redness. And then your new skin needs to rebuild, and that doesn't show up until about a month to 6 weeks later. So you would have to do it right away. $5,000, I mean, I would do a full lab panel. Absolutely. You could do a consult with me, of course. Keep your peptide stack, keep your supplement stack, and definitely do a PRP section. You could also do anything else, right? Microneedling. You could do a resurfacing laser, anything topically like that. And I would do, man, $5,000. You could do an at-home sauna at that rate. I would make sure that your workouts are really dialed in for that. And what else could you do? And the labs. And then seeing what the labs say and then making adjustments based off of those labs. So I hope that helps with the breakdown financially there. Whole foods and the supplements really and lifting heavy are going to move the needle the most. And then come the more advanced supplements I talked about and the peptides as well. Glow is not a product that you buy, it is the body that you build. And I've said that before. Really want to build this step by step. And I don't want you to just take one peptide and feel like you're going to glow in 8 weeks because it doesn't work like that. You have to have all of these pieces of the puzzle come together to support the full body, the whole body holistically and in a 360-degree way. If you want to work together, I mean, I'm literally working with a client right now who has a wedding in 8 weeks, which is how this came up. I would absolutely love to work with you. I am seeing women all over the world right now. I met with women from South Africa to Bulgaria, Canada, US, so many women this week. And this is what I do. I do longevity consulting for women, and that includes peptides, supplements, lifestyle, biohacking, nutrition. I am also a holistic nutritionist, so of course it includes that. I am here to help you, and I really would love to help you go from A to B and get you the transformation that you're looking for. So let me know. I will put my booking link. You can hop on a free call. I do free 15-minute, 30-minute calls with women, and it's incredible. And we can go and figure out what works for you after that. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. This helps give you a runway and really motivates you for the next 8 weeks. You can do so much to glow in 8 weeks. I have done it. You can do it. I've seen other people do it. I help clients do it. 8 weeks is enough time to really become that woman that you want to be for your event, your trip, even just your daily life, or something big like your own wedding. Who knows? You have enough time, you have the resources. If you listen to this episode and you're like, Brittany, I have a question about something you said, message me on Instagram at biohackingbrittany. I would love to help you. I send voice notes all the time. I answer questions all the time. I'm here for you. And if you want to order anything or look at any of the links of the products that I mentioned, everything's on the show notes or on my website, biohackingbrittany.com. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. And please subscribe to the show and all those good things. Okay, have a good rest of your day. Bye.